I have to own something that immediately makes me the villain, and honestly, they're not entirely wrong. During sex with my boyfriend, I pictured my ex's hands, the exact pressure of his grip. People hear that and brand me irredeemable. What nobody grasps is that this confession, the one that shattered us, was my twisted attempt at honesty. I risked my relationship, reputation, and dignity. The real terror isn't that I thought of Ethan, it's what happened after Liam said me too and walked out. I'm going to tell you the parts I've hidden. There's a detail I've omitted, something worse than fantasies. By the time you understand the full context, you'll either hate me more or see it differently. Probably both. The insecurity began with a digital ghost, a Facebook memory from exactly 2 years prior. Ethan and I were on a beach in Mexico, our skin sticky with salt and cheap sunscreen. The photo caught me mid-laugh, the kind that starts in your stomach. Liam glanced at it over my shoulder while we made breakfast, oatmeal bubbling on the stove. Cute, he said, voice flat as the spoon against the pot. I should have let it go. Instead, I launched into a defensive monologue about Ethan's emotional unavailability, how he'd roll his eyes at my anxiety attacks. Liam kept stirring, silent. That night, I initiated sex with unusual aggression, trying to burn the image from my retinas. I kept my eyes shut. Afterward, Liam traced hesitant patterns on my back. You seemed distant, he whispered. I blamed quarterly reports. The lie tasted like copper. The barista recognized me at Ethan's coffee shop, asked about the usual. My throat tightened. That small acknowledgement felt like being real again. I began visiting every Tuesday and Thursday, Ethan's teaching days, except I'd learned he'd switched his schedule a month ago, trading Thursday classes for Mondays. I was playing Russian roulette with appearances. My friend Sarah called during week 3, her voice cautious. You're not still, she began. I cut her off with a laugh like breaking glass. Over him? God, no. I could hear her skepticism through the phone. The real hook sank when I saw his fiancée's engagement party post. I spent an hour perfecting a casual outfit, another on natural makeup. Liam wanted to stay home. I insisted. At the wine bar, I scanned the room until I found her, blonde, radiant, everything the algorithm promised. I pointed her out to Liam, my voice a too-high wire. That's Ethan's new girl, making it sound like observation, not obsession. Liam's eyes narrowed. You okay? He asked. I showed him all my teeth. Perfect. That night marked the first real crack. I initiated sex again, but this time I wasn't just distant, I was performative, loud in ways that felt borrowed from someone else. Liam responded mechanically. Afterward, he propped himself on one elbow. You've been different, he said. Not a question, I feigned sleep. The next day, I created a fake Instagram account. Corinne Miller 2024, a lifestyle blogger with stolen photos and manufactured authenticity. I used it to follow Ethan's fiancée to study her movements and preferences. She posted about a yoga studio near my office. I signed up for the same class. We became accidental friends, sweating on mats side by side. Her name was Rachel, and she was effortlessly kind. When she invited me for coffee after class, I accepted, my heart hammering against my ribs. I told her I worked in marketing, which was true enough. She told me about the wedding, the venue, the dress, details I cataloged like evidence. I told Liam I was working late. The lie came smoother this time. The escalation became chemical. I started texting Ethan from a Google Voice number I created. Harmless things at first. Hey, is this still the number for the guitar lessons? He replied, wrong number. I deleted the messages, but the rush of contact electrified me. I told Rachel I knew a great photographer for weddings, then gave her Ethan's email with a fake name attached. I wanted to see if he'd take the bait, if he'd recognize my voice in the recommendation. He didn't. The photographer was real, the connection was poison. Liam noticed my phone buzzing more frequently. New friend? He asked, casual but with an edge. Just work stuff, I said, angling the screen away. He stopped asking. At home, I began redecorating our bedroom, subtle changes that made it feel less like mine and Liam's space, more like a blank canvas. I removed the photographs of us, replaced them with abstract prints. Liam asked about it once. I said I needed a change. He didn't push. His patience felt like accusation. I started working later, spending evenings at the coffee shop where I'd accidentally run into Rachel again. We became actual friends. She confided in me about wedding stress, about Ethan's occasional distance. He has an ex, she told me one night over wine, who apparently can't let go. He gets these weird messages sometimes. My blood froze. That's creepy, I managed. She nodded. He's blocked 3 numbers already. I should have stopped there. Instead, I escalated. I began leaving anonymous gifts at Ethan's apartment door, a vintage record I knew he wanted, a first edition book. No notes, just objects. I told myself it was closure, a way to say goodbye without words. The truth was darker. I wanted him to feel haunted, to wonder. Rachel mentioned the gifts during our next coffee, puzzled and slightly frightened. It's like she's watching us, she said, us. The word splintered something in me. I went home and initiated sex with Liam while wearing Ethan's old college t-shirt, which I'd stolen from his laundry 2 years ago and kept buried in my closet. Liam didn't recognize it. I did. The first major revelation came when Rachel invited me to her bridal shower. I accepted, perversely thrilled by the proximity. The night before, Liam found the t-shirt in our laundry. He held it up, confused. "This isn't mine," he said. "Is it your brother's?" I snatched it, heart hammering. "Old Jim's shirt," I lied, "from donation pile." He stared at me, and I saw the first flicker of real suspicion. At the shower, I watched Rachel open gifts, her happiness radiant and pure. I gave her a vintage camera, the same model Ethan had once drooled over in a store window with me. She loved it. I felt sick with power. When I got home, Liam was waiting. "We need to talk," he said. "You've been lying about work. Sarah called, asked if we wanted to double date, said you've been too busy for months." The trap snapped shut. I deflected. "Sarah exaggerates. I've been overwhelmed." Liam's jaw tightened. "And the coffee shop, the one you said you hated?" I felt the floor tilt. He'd followed me. "I saw you there," he continued, voice quiet and terrible. "With Ethan's fiancée." The world narrowed to a point. "You don't understand," I began, but he held up a hand. "I understand enough. You've been stalking them." The word landed like a fist. "It's not stalking," I whispered. You just what?" he interrupted. "Want him back, want to ruin his life." I couldn't answer. That night, I slept on the couch while Liam stayed in our bedroom, the door closed like a verdict. The next week was a blur of damage control. I texted Rachel with a fake family emergency, claiming I had to leave town indefinitely. I deleted the Google Voice account. I threw away Ethan's t-shirt. I told Liam I was seeking therapy, which was partially true. I made one appointment, then canceled. I thought if I could just erase the evidence, the feelings would follow. But the photos were still on my phone, screenshots of Rachel's posts I'd saved obsessively. I couldn't delete them. They felt like proof I'd existed in his orbit. Liam and I operated in tense silence. He stopped initiating conversation. I stopped trying to fill it. One night after a week of this, he came home with takeout and a strange expression. "We can't keep doing this," he said. I agreed. We had sex that night, mechanical and silent. I kept my eyes open, forcing myself to see only him. It didn't work. Afterward, he whispered, "I think about him too sometimes." I froze. "What?" "Your ex," he clarified. "I wonder what he had that I don't." The confession was a grenade. I didn't know how to tell him it wasn't about what Ethan had, but what I'd become. The breaking point arrived disguised as reconciliation. Liam suggested a weekend away, a cabin in the woods where we could reset. I agreed desperately. We drove 3 hours into dense forest, phone service spotty, just us and the silence. The first night, we cooked dinner together, drank wine, talked about things that weren't Ethan or Rachel or deception. It felt like healing. Then my phone buzzed. One bar of service had snaked through the trees. It was Rachel. "I know it's you," the text read. "The gifts, the Instagram account, everything. Ethan recognized your voice on the photographer recommendation. Stop or I'm calling the police." The walls closed in. Liam saw my face. "What?" he asked. I showed him the phone. He read it twice, then looked at me with an expression I couldn't name. "Tell me what you've done," he said. Not a request, so I told him everything. The coffee shop surveillance, the fake Instagram, the Google Voice texts, the gifts, the yoga studio infiltration, the stolen t-shirt. I confessed it like a litany, each admission a weight lifting then crushing me. Liam listened without moving, his face stone. When I finished, the cabin felt smaller, airless. "Broke into his apartment," he said flatly. It wasn't a question. I hadn't told him that part. The color left my face. "How did you?" "Because I talked to him," Liam interrupted. "Ethan, I found his number, called him. We've been speaking for 2 weeks. He told me about the break-in, the missing shirt, how he's been documenting everything." The world tilted. "You spoke to Ethan?" I whispered. "He said he thought it was you, but he couldn't prove it. I defended you, told him you would never." Liam's laugh was bitter. I was wrong. The worst truth wasn't that I'd thought of Ethan during sex. It was that I'd built an entire parallel life orbiting his, a solar system of obsession. Liam stood and walked to the bedroom, returning with his suitcase. "I'm leaving," he said. "You can find your own way back." He paused at the door. When I said I thought about him too, I meant I wondered how someone I loved could become a stranger. I was trying to understand you. "But you weren't thinking of Ethan during sex because you missed him. You were thinking of him because in your mind, he still owns you. And maybe he does." The door closed. I sat in the cabin, Rachel's text glowing on my phone, the full weight of my architecture of lies collapsing. I'd stalked a man who'd moved on, befriended his fiancée under false pretenses, broken into his home, and destroyed my relationship not with the confession, but with everything that came before it. The sex confession was just the symptom. The disease was that I'd turned my life into a crime scene, and I'd been both victim and perpetrator. The aftermath unfolded in stages. First, the silence. Liam didn't return to our apartment for 3 days. When he did, he brought movers. He'd already signed a new lease. He packed his things while I sat on the couch, paralyzed. He took the coffee maker, the couch, the piece. I didn't fight him. Sarah texted, "What the hell is going on?" Liam called me. I didn't answer. Rachel's threat hung over me. I waited for police lights, for handcuffs, but nothing came. Maybe she was merciful, or maybe she wanted me to live with it. I deleted the fake Instagram, the screenshots, the fake email. I blocked Ethan's real accounts. I tried to erase my digital footprints like they could erase the behavior. They couldn't. Work became impossible. My boss called me into her office, concerned about my performance. I'd missed 3 deadlines. "Are you okay?" she asked. I lied again. Family emergency. She gave me a week of leave. I spent it in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every choice. The t-shirt, the coffee shop, the photographer email. Each memory was a stone in my stomach. I posted a vague, melancholy story on my real Instagram, something about growth through pain. The performative vulnerability sickened me. 47 people messaged their support. I responded to none of them. Sarah showed up on day 5, keying into the apartment with the spare I'd given her years ago. "Talk," she demanded, so I told her too, a condensed version. Her face moved through pity, disgust, and finally resignation. "You need serious help," she said. "Not just therapy like psychiatric intervention." I knew she was right. I also knew I wouldn't seek it. The shame was too complete. Liam moved everything he wanted within a week. He left the bed, the apartment, the life. He also left a letter. It was brief. "I won't tell anyone what you did. Not Sarah, not your family, but you need to get help. What you did isn't just unhealthy, it's criminal. If you contact Ethan or Rachel again, I will personally make sure they press charges. You're not the woman I fell in love with, maybe you never were." The words cut because they were true. I'd been performing being a girlfriend while secretly being a ghost haunting someone else's life. The dissonance had fractured me. I saw that now, too late. I'd spent months building a shrine to a past relationship while burning down my present one. And for what? Ethan was getting married. Rachel had become my friend in earnest, even as I lied. Liam had tried to love me through my damage. I'd rewarded him by making him complicit in my obsession, then finally exposing him to the rot. Now I'm telling this because yesterday, Rachel posted a wedding photo. Not the professional ones, just a candid, the kiss. They're happy, truly. And I'm alone in an apartment I can no longer afford, surrounded by evidence of a person I no longer recognize. The confession about thinking of Ethan during sex wasn't the worst thing I did. It was the only honest moment in a relationship built on performance. Liam said, "Me too," because he was thinking of Ethan too, not with desire, but with the dawning horror that his girlfriend was a stranger. He left because he finally understood the depth of my unraveling. I stayed because leaving would mean facing myself, and I'm not ready for that. Maybe I never will be. People will read this and decide I'm a monster. They're not entirely wrong. But I'm also just a woman who got lost trying to find herself in someone else's story and ended up losing everything. Including, most damningly, the ability to know whether any of my feelings were ever real or just extensions of a performance I forgot I was giving. The sex was just where the mask slipped. The truth is, it was never about Ethan. It was about me, and the terrifying discovery that I don't know who I am without an object for my obsession. Liam left because he saw that. I stay because I can't face it. Maybe that's the real confession.